What's going on, guys? How are you? I'm sitting out here in the backyard. Got all the yard work done today. Got all the rubber mulch put down around the pool, and got some work done outside in the front yard and stuff like that. Question that's been asked a lot here on the channel: the cicadas in the background. I apologize. Nothing I can do about it. Midwest Illinois, the cicadas are all over the place. Luckily, we only have a couple more weeks of it, and then this racket will be gone. It's kind of pretty at first, but then when you think about it, and you hear it every single day, it's annoying. A question I often get asked on this channel is it okay to run high mileage oil filters, these extended mileage oil filters, for these oil filters that are rated for 20 and 25,000 miles? It's okay to run them, but only on specific vehicles. I'm going to tell you the vehicles that I would not run a high mileage or extended mileage, which means like a Fram Ultra or a Fram Endurance or any of the even mobile 20,000 mile rated filter, or any of the high mileage rated filters, like even the Purolator Boss. I think they've got it up to 20,000 miles now, depending on what box you get. Some of the old ones had 15,000 on them. Some of the new ones, I think they say 20,000 on it. I would not run a extended mileage, high mileage filter on vehicles that are prone to lifter issues, such as anything from 2007 on. When it comes to GM related, like trucks and SUVs, I would not do it. Anything that has a timing component issue, like with oil supply, like the 5.4 series or the 4.6 series that started in circa 99 to 2000 moving forward, where they had supply issues for the timing chain and camshaft journals, stuff like that. The modular Ford design already has an oil issue as it is because of the type of system that it is. That's why when everybody does their timing jobs and their oil pumps and stuff, they always go with a higher volume oil pump, because it has supply issues. So any of the 2000 model Ford trucks and SUVs, it would be a no-go for me. I would not run a high mileage filter on any of them. Any GM from 2007 on, I would not. When it comes to trucks and SUVs, I would not run a high mileage filter on them. Any GM SUV that's prone to timing chain issues, like the Terrain and the Acadia, the Equinox, I would not also run a high mileage, extended mileage oil filter on them either. The Kias and Hyundais that have oiling issues, I would not run a high mileage oil filter on those. I would stay away from high mileage oil filters on any vehicle that's prone to some type of oil issue, just for the simple fact that the higher mileage, extended mileage oil filters, they take longer for oil pressure to build up. It takes just a little bit longer for oil pressure to build up. It filters extremely fine, down to 94% efficiency at like 5 micron or something like that is what the Fram Ultra was. With the Endurance, I don't know, it could be even better than that. So it's to the point where a high mileage filter I would not use on a vehicle that's prone to timing chain issues, lifter issues, or oil supply issues. Now, what kind of vehicle would a high mileage filter be acceptable on, or extended mileage filter? I'd say like a Toyota Camry, a pre-2007 GM truck or SUV, or the GM cars and stuff, into the sedans in general. Same with Ford. When it comes to their sedans, I would not run a high mileage filter on any Ford or GM vehicle that's getting close to, probably say 80-90,000 miles. I'd stay away from it. Hondas and Toyotas simply last a little bit longer, and they can take those higher mileage, extended mileage oil filters if you wanted to leave it on there longer. Even though I change the oil every single time and filter every single time my 5,000 miles or less hits, I know some people like to change the filter every other because they buy an extended filter so they don't have to buy one every single time. They might save a few bucks, whatever. I know the thoughts there. And yes, it does filter pretty well. But also at the same time, you have to think about what you're trying to achieve. If you're going to be changing the oil every 5,000 miles anyway, a factory spec filter, like just a regular Purolator or regular Wix, regular Napa, regular OE filter. I love the Motorcraft OE filters. The Motorcraft OE filters, if you can find one that is equivalent and safe to fit your car, that's the safest filter you can put on your vehicle. What I'm worried about with these other vehicles that we know statistically don't last as long as some of the Hondas and Toyotas is, are you prematurely causing wear by taking an extended mileage filter and running it on something where it's even just a little bit harder to get oil supply where it needs to be because of the design of the filter? Any of the modular engines, I would be running just a standard Motorcraft filter on. Any of the GM products, I'd be running a Motorcraft or AC Delco filter on, or a Wix, or Napa or Purolator regular. The trucks and SUVs anyway. And the sedans, once they start getting up to like 80, 90, 100,000 miles, I would stick with an OE, definitely an OE filter. The higher mileage filters, to me, even though they're great, they filter really fine particles out. In the grand scheme of things, it's just not worth it, because if it's changing the oil every 5,000 miles, then you're changing the filter with it anyway, unless you're doing every other. But then even at that point, why is it worth, an extra $3 or $4 for an extended mileage filter when you could buy almost 2 filters for that same price, if not pay a little bit more for 2 filters, but in the long run, you're putting a fresh new filter on there. I mean, it's just my thought process. I know there's a lot of oil stuff that's been popping up from multiple people lately and stuff, but I wanted to talk about this from a different perspective. Extended mileage oil filters are not fit for every single vehicle out there. And if you're going to be changing your oil every 5,000 miles or less anyway, there's no reason to run an extended mileage oil filter. Just run a regular spec OE filter. Regular Napa, regular Wix, regular Purolator, regular MicroGuard, whatever it is that you want to run it. But don't put the extended mileage stuff on vehicles that you know are prone and susceptible to oil supply issues, timing chain issues, or lifter issues. I hope this helps. I hope some of you found this somewhat interesting and enlightening. There was an engineering channel that just recently did some tests on oil filters, and you could see that the Fram Ultra filtered the best, but it also plugged up the fastest, and it also caused less oil pressure to get where it needed to be because of how fine it actually filtered. So it did its job. 1000% did its job. But if you're running a filter that's that sensitive and that filters that well on a vehicle that's prone to timing chain issues, oil supply issues, or lifter issues, I wouldn't do it. Just go with a regular filter. Regular spec OE filter. You got to get the cheapest thing out there. Hell, even the SuperTech, just the regular standard 10,000 or 5,000 mile SuperTech filter is more than sufficient. Change your oil every 5,000 miles or less, and unless you're driving a vehicle that you know, like I would say like a town car, Grand Marquis, Interceptor, Camry, Corolla, Honda of some sort, vehicles that we statistically see get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of miles with no issues, I would see creeping up there into more of the extended mileage filters. But even at that, why? Why even run an extended mileage filter on your car? Every one of my vehicles now, I just run factory spec Motorcraft filters. Even on my GM and on my Dodge. Factory spec Motorcraft filters. I love them. I love them to death. They're just the safety design where the bypass is in the top. Just really good quality filter overall. I don't have any issues with it. I know they've had some issues with boogered up threads manufacturing, and some people have said that they found that the leaf spring rattling around, or the leaf in the bottom of it on some of the older ones that don't have the bypass in the top, rattling around in there. I get it. They've had some issues. They've had some manufacturing issues, but they fixed it, and they're back on track with how it's supposed to be. But that's my thoughts on everything. Take care, guys. I hope you had a great weekend. Get ready for this grind. Wake up Monday morning, hit that floor hot and heavy. Y'all be blessed. Take care. Love y'all.